Hello, friends. Welcome to Time Out with Noelle Danae, a podcast about Christianity and other life topics. I'm your host, Noelle, and thank you so much for timing out with me. Here's what you can expect from today's podcast. I hate the phrase, if you got it, flaunt it, with everything in me. Like, I have a burning passion of hatred for that phrase. And it comes from just not wanting to see all of that. What is up, guys? So, a little backstory to how this episode has come about. So, I have been wanting to do an episode, or it's like something on modesty for a while now. And just kind of like my journey with it, and what, like, my opinions on it are, and the possibility of it being, like, a podcast or a YouTube series, possibly, in the future. And this is the third time I have recorded this episode, because every time, the past 2 times I've recorded it, I have remembered stuff that I added in the next time I recorded it. So, hopefully, this will be the last time I record this episode, because 3rd time's the charm. So, yes. Also, if you hear, like, a fan or, like, a ceiling fan in the background, ding, 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 you are once again correct. Woo, so proud for you. Because I am in my living room recording today, because I did not feel like sitting on the bathroom floor, so I'm sitting on my couch instead. We love a good glow up. So, my journey, I guess you could say, with modesty, really, took, it was kind of slow until, high school, when I started getting really insecure about who I was in God, and I started really comparing myself, which, if you've been following me for a while, on Instagram or my blog, then you'll know that I have dealt with comparison for years upon years, and that it just really comes from a place of insecurity in myself and who God made me to be, which is stuff I constantly have to give to God, but I sometimes forget to do it. But in high school, all the girls would come to school and they're mini skirts and crop tops. And they would definitely not follow dress code, which we're not even going to talk about dress codes, because the first time I recorded this episode, I ranted for a good 30 minutes about not even modesty, but dress code and my problems with it. So I'm trying not to do that this time, but they would just look perfect and they would attract all the boys, and I would just get really insecure because I was this, plus size girl wearing jeans and a t-shirt, and I didn't love myself. And so I don't remember what year it was, but in the middle of my high school career, I literally tried to change myself so I could get a boyfriend, which, by the way, first of all, your worth is not in a man or a woman. First of all, your worth is in God, point blank, period. But I really just let the society and the world kind of just seep into me. And I started straying from God. And modesty isn't just in clothing, it's your lifestyle. I feel like modesty is definitely a lifestyle. You can be modest in what you wear, you can be modest in what makeup you wear, but you can also be modest in the music you listen to, in the shows you watch, in what you put in your body, eating-wise, or whatever. And so I started listening to really secular music, and the new rappers or whatever, but I hate rap music, modern, I guess, rap music, because I wanted to fit in and I wanted people to like me, and I was not a modest person in that way. So it was probably around junior to senior year where I finally said, whatever. I honestly don't really care anymore about what people have to say about me or think about me, and I rededicated my life to Christ because we love Jesus. And I went back to, being my old self, except I was like a new version of my old self. So, I was still, wearing my jeans and t-shirts, but I had, I was confident in who I was as a plus-size girl, which confidence is not equivalent to showing yourself off to make it appear like you're confident. That's something that I've seen a lot on Instagram, like all these like plus size girls, and I'm like speaking to plus size because I don't know what it's like to be, skinny, obviously. But like, I hate the phrase, if you got it, flaunt it, with everything in me. Like, I have a burning passion of hatred for that phrase. And it comes from just not wanting to see all of that because I don't want my eyes to look at it. Thank you very much. And so I have now evolved in college, and I still wear my jeans and t-shirts, but I have, better shoes. I have cuter t-shirts. I have cuter jeans. And I have discovered the power of tucking in your shirt into your jeans and wearing a blazer. If you have seen me, this was towards like the end of my first semester when I first discovered how much I love blazers. I wear a blazer nearly every day. Not as much right now since I've been in quarantine and stuff, but I have slowly made a collection of blazers, and they're pretty much all from Goodwill. Like, Goodwill is it. Every Saturday at like 10 a.m. when I was in school, I would get in my little car, Hobie, and I'd drive him to the nearest Goodwill, and I'd do a little shopping if I had, the money, or I would just go, look around. And I got so many blazers for such good prices. And I got a discount because I'm a college student. And so that was really cool and really nice. And I love Goodwill. But I really had to teach myself my intention and my mindset behind why I was dressing the way I was and what the difference is now. I dress the way I dress now because I feel good and I feel confident in it. And so that's kind of like me with Modesty for clothes-wise. So please, cover up. And my definition of modesty may be different than your definition or perspective of modesty. But I feel like there's a common denominator of please cover up. Like, just please. Please. And especially if you're like on a Christian campus, like and I'm not trying to be, judgmental, but in my opinion, if I was not a Christian, which there are a lot of non-Christians on my campus, and I see, these, people wearing, big sweatshirts and shorts, and they look like they don't have pants on. And I'm like, if I was a non-believer and I didn't know you were a Christian and you told me, I would honestly question why you dressed like that. Like, honestly. And I question why people dress like that just in general. Because, the Bible says that our bodies are a temple. But I feel like, back in biblical times, they would take care of their temples and they would make sure that they did not look ratchety-hatchety. So I feel like we should make sure our lifestyle and our bodies, as we are the temple for the Holy Spirit, we should not be all ratchety-hatchety. Thank you. So I have discovered as of late that modesty, as I was saying earlier, is a lifestyle, and it floods into every part of our daily life. So you can be modest in what you eat. I have tried to, become healthier. My mom's doing keto, and some of the stuff that she makes is so good. Guys, she made keto sausage balls, and I am obsessed with them. And they are so easy to make. But, some of the stuff that she makes is so good. And I'm considering doing keto because I know it's good for your body. But I think I like pasta too much to do it. So I may just cut back on the carbs. Tea. I've been drinking more water and not as much Dr. Pepper, which if you know me, then you know how much I love Dr. Pepper. And I've completely cut out energy drinks, and if you know me, you know how much Monsters I drank last year. During finals week, there was one day where I drank 5 Monsters in a day to stay awake. It was very unhealthy, and I was not being modest because I was damaging my temple. And so I'm also, modest in the things I listen to, like music, because that's what I'm most influenced by, is by music and entertainment. So I have a lot of good, clean artists that I listen to, and, some of them are indie, Christian, pop, K-pop, and I love that. One of my favorite bands called Half Alive. If you follow me on Instagram, you will know I've been loving these guys for a couple years now, and they are Christians who make clean, secular. Hey guys, so that last clip that you heard was me yesterday. And the reason that it is a time difference is because my mom called me in the middle of me recording, which is my fault because I forgot to tell her that I was recording. And so she called me and we went out and did stuff, and then we sat down and we relaxed and I went to bed. So it's the next day and I am finishing up recording this episode. But I wanted to talk about something I said in the last clip yesterday, and that is about how, our bodies are a temple and that we should not be ratchety-hatchety. Now, I'm not trying to say that you can't wear sweatpants and a big sweatshirt, because, if that's you being modest and you not trying to look cute that day, you know what, that's totally fine. I feel like modesty in clothing is really our intention behind the things that we wear. So if you're wearing something to get someone else's attention or to show yourself off, that is not being modest, so yes. But if you want to wear sweatpants, wear sweatpants, okay? Do you, girl. Nobody's gonna dress code you or whatever. So I felt like I just needed to call myself out on that and explain what I meant, because it probably came across, very, judgmental and mean. So, yes. Back to what I was talking about. I am very modest in the things that I listen to now. I pretty much only listen to clean music, and that can be another episode is secular music versus Christian music and how much is too much. So yeah, so I'm also modest in the things that I watch. I mainly watch YouTube now, but I do watch some TV shows. Some of my favorites are the Star Trek shows, mainly Star Trek the original series, because I kind of just making fun of it because it was made in the 70s, 80s, I don't even know. And Star Trek Next Generation, and I've started watching Picard. So I love the Star Trek series, the Star Trek franchise. And I watched CSI Miami because David Caruso cracks me up. if you have not watched an episode of CSI Miami, I highly recommend you do it, because every time David Caruso has a line, he looks down, looks back up, and says it really dramatically, and I laugh until I cry every episode. So, that's another show. I like watching Numbers. Numbers is a really good show, and it, like, went off the air, and I was really sad, but I watched, like, reruns of it on the H&I channel, and then I watched, like, some NCIS, some, like, just CBS shows. I like watching a lot of, like, crime shows, but every day I try to watch Dr. Phil, because it is just a really funny show to me, and it's just really entertaining, and that's, like, my idea of, like, reality TV is Dr. Phil, so, yeah. So I'm pretty modest in the things that I watch, especially on, like, YouTube. I watch gaming videos a lot, but I also have been recently watching, like, vlogs and productivity and stuff like that, and a lot of, like, Minecraft videos. So some of my favorite Minecraft channels are Skeppy, Spicy, and Bad Boy Halo. They crack me up so much, and I really like their content. So, yes. And so I'm modest in those things. And I think that's, like, pretty much all my areas of modesty. I'm pretty modest in my friendships. Especially, I don't really have that many, like, close friends. Growing up, I didn't have a lot of, like, close friends. And so I think, I'm sorry, I am so congested right now. And this is what y'all had to say. So, my friend Libby, go check out her podcast at Gather and Grow. It is a really good podcast, and it is definitely, like, probably one of my favorites. And she said it's a way to glorify God with our bodies, to show respect to not only Him, but ourselves and those around us. And I completely agree with that, especially, you know, we're not trying to be all ratchety-hatchety over here, you know. I'm pretty modest in my friendships. But to finish this episode out, I asked you guys on Instagram to send me y'all's opinions on modesty. My friend Laura, she is becoming one of my best friends, and I love her so much, and I get to see her in, like, 3 weeks, and I'm very excited. She said, modesty is more about your mind than your clothes, your intentions than your skirt length. And I should have just, like, opened this episode with that one quote and just, like, finished it, because I feel like that, like, wraps everything up in a nice little bow, and, like, I completely agree. And, you know, modesty, you don't have to wear a skirt. You don't have to wear, you know, like, I'm not trying to, like, dig at, like, modest people who, like, wear that, but I feel like that is a common, like, misconception with modesty, is that modesty has to be ugly, and it definitely does not. I am so modest in the stuff that I wear, as I was explaining earlier, but, you know, I have made it kind of my own, and I'm even doing a YouTube video on modest back-to-school outfits that I got from my closet, because I am not trying to break my bank buying stuff. And so that will be a YouTube video coming out probably next week. So look forward to that. And then my friend Rebecca, she is an upcoming freshman at Lee, and I'm so excited to meet her. And she's actually my suite mate, and I'm very excited. She said, as a believer, I dress modestly as a way to respect God's creation, among other reasons. And I love that. I love that she does have an intention behind it. And I love that, you know, she knows why she does it, not just that she does it because it's something that you do. Like, I love that. So, honestly, like, just kind of reflecting back on my high school days, I'm reminded of when there was a point in time where I was literally that SpongeBob meme where it's like girls trying to wear high-waisted pants and crop tops, and I thought I looked so good, and I so did not, and I was so not modest, and my intentions behind those outfits were not good, and I cannot believe I walked out of the house looking like that. And it wasn't like an everyday thing, but it was enough that I remember it. But of course I also remember like the most embarrassing things about me. So yes, I think that's it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And, like, the song is just so good. Like, besides, like, the fact that, like, it's, like, for Twilight, like, it's just such a good song. And now she's released it on Apple Music and Spotify. So go stream it and check it out. And I'm a proud little sister, and I miss her so much. But I highly recommend you guys check it out. And I think I'm done ranting about why I love these songs so much. Hey guys, so it is time for y'all's favorite segment, or I hope it is your favorite segment of this podcast, called Songs of the BiWeek. Now, if you are new to this podcast, then you probably do not know what Songs of the BiWeek is. Songs of the BiWeek is a little thing that I came up with at the beginning of this podcast, where I give you guys a couple of song suggestions that have either gotten me through the past couple of weeks, or I am probably going to end up listening to them for the next couple of weeks, and so on and so forth. Now, something new about this is I made a couple of playlists. So there are Songs of the BiWeek playlists, one on Apple Music and another on Spotify. I will put the links in the show notes if you want to go check that out. So, without further ado, let me give you guys the Songs of the BiWeek. Now, the Songs of the BiWeek this episode are Karma by Sarah Cothran and Silence Edward's Soliloquy from Cherish, Danae. Okay, first of all, Karma. So, Sarah is a friend of mine, so she has an EP out, and it's called Karma, and Karma's the title track, obviously, and I listened to the EP when it first came out, and then I kind of, like, forgot about it a little bit, because a lot of other artists were releasing other music, and then I went to Songwriters Night, which is a thing in Hendersonville at Rock Castle. If you guys are ever in the Nashville or Hendersonville area during the summer, definitely check out Songwriters Night. I have heard some of my new favorite artists there, and I just love it so much. And she played it again at Songwriters Night, and I became re-obsessed with it. And it is just such a good song. I love this song so much. Like, oh my gosh, I love Sarah so much. Literally, like, the whole time she's performing, me and my friend Madison, she's like my little sister / child, we're like sitting there and we're just like, I love Sarah so much. We love Sarah so much. And she is so talented. And I highly recommend you guys check this song out because it is so good. Now, this second song is a very special song because the person who wrote it and sang it is a very special person in my life. So, Silence just came out. Like, if you guys cannot hear, like, my tone of voice, I am so excited about this. So, Cherish is my cousin / big sister. If you have not subscribed to her on YouTube, what are you doing? youtube.com/Cherish Danae. She wrote this song in honor of Midnight Sun coming out, which is the new Twilight book from Stephanie Meyer, written in Edward's perspective. Now, Cherish is a die-hard Twilight fan. And when I mean die-hard, I mean die-hard. Like, everything that comes out of her mouth is somehow, in some way related to Twilight, and I'm not lying. Cherish, if you tell me I'm lying, I'm not lying. Period. And so she released this song, and it's so good, and Stephanie Meyer heard it, and you can, like, go watch the video about how all of this happened, but basically, Ficklefish Films, which is her Instagram, like, her team runs the Instagram for her, and they DM'd Cherish because everybody was tagging the account in Cherish's comments when she released it, and they DM'd Cherish and they were like, Stephanie Meyer has heard your song. Can we put it on the website? And I was like, ah. Thank you guys so much for listening in today. If you want to hear more, then subscribe to the podcast on wherever you listen to, and give us a review on Apple Podcasts, because it really helps out over here, and I would just really appreciate it. And share it with your friends and family so they can hear the podcast and hopefully they will enjoy it. And if you want to, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at TimeNoelPod. Check out the blog because we have some really good content there. And don't forget to check out next week's YouTube video on different back to school outfits that are modest and cute. And I will catch y'all in 2 weeks with an episode of me going through my goals for my sophomore year of college. Be blessed and highly flavored, friends. Goodbye.